today is free lunch day. For the rest of Maryland's families and for most of the locally owned businesses, today is tax day. Today is the day that we settle up and pay our taxes, meet our responsibility, and do our obligation to pay for the things that we get from government at the state, local, and federal level. But for the Chamber of Commerce, it's free lunch today because a third of the biggest corporations in Maryland are paying nothing in state income taxes. Not a dollar, not a dime, not a penny in state income taxes. And we're releasing today the figures from the comptroller's office that name the names and talk about who the biggest corporations are and how many of them are not paying their state income taxes. And the solution to this, and the reason that we're talking about the Chamber of Commerce, they have been the biggest obstacle to passing combined reporting. And to talk about that and the impact that it has on our state, I'm going to introduce a number of people. I'm going to introduce first Patrick Moran, who's the director for AFSCME Maryland, who's got a special card that he's prepared for the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all. The most important thing here is that all these small businesses you see along West Street here are paying their fair share. They're doing the right thing. They're contributing to the base. They're making sure that the services that the people of the state of Maryland and that the state provides are there when in these times of need and in these very dire, lean times. But the Chamber, for some reason, has the opinion that the big corporations such as the Walmarts and the Toys R Us, the big box stores here, shouldn't pay a dime, and that the people of Maryland and the small businesses of Maryland should foot the bill or give the free lunch, as they like to put it. And that's inherently wrong, that's inherently unjust, and in this day and age when we've seen people falling off the rolls in terms of employment and unemployment increasing, we need a change here, and combined reporting is the answer to that. That's one piece of the puzzle that we need to put into play and that the state of Maryland and the people of Maryland need. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Patrick. We're also handing out a new report from last month. Here, if you could grab that for me for just a minute. This is a new report that you won't hear about from the Chamber of Commerce, even though this report was done by Ernst & Young for the Chambers of Commerce. This is a report from the Council on State Taxation, which was created by the state chambers of commerce around the country, continues to be affiliated with them. And last month, they emailed to the Maryland Chamber of Commerce and to all their members this report comparing the states on corporate taxation. And what they announce on page 8 of this report is that Maryland ranks #1 as the most business-friendly state in the nation for our corporate taxes. #1. Now, why won't you hear that from the Maryland Chamber of Commerce? You would think that they would be shouting it from the rooftops, telling everyone, Maryland is a great state to do business. Other businesses should come to Maryland, take advantage of the great business climate here, but they're not doing that. They're not even releasing the report. We have to find it on the website of the Council on State Taxation and release it for them because it contradicts what they tell the legislators over in the State House. When they had the hearing on combined reporting and on extending the millionaire's tax in Maryland, the Chamber of Commerce testified, you can't do that. It's bad for business. Maryland is a high tax state. It's a bad state for business. Our members all say they're going to move to Virginia because Virginia is better than Maryland, and yet this report says exactly the opposite. So from this we know that the Chamber of Commerce has been playing Maryland for suckers, saying one thing to the state legislators while they laugh and all the way to the bank with the great profits because of the great business climate in this state. The impact that this has on real people is something that often gets lost. And so there are some folks who are here today from Be More Housing that are going to talk about the impact that this has had on them and on people who are disabled, who have been homeless, people who are veterans of America's wars, who are now in a position where they've needed some help themselves from the state, from state government. And so they're going to talk about the impact. I'm going to introduce James Crawford, who's an honorably discharged veteran of the U.S. Navy, and Tony Friend, who are going to talk about the impact of state budget cuts on them personally.
My name is James Crawford Jr., and as he said, I am an honorably discharged veteran. I became homeless back in 2000 because of an accident I was in, and I lost my housing. I had benefits that were supposed to be due to me from the VA, but I couldn't get those benefits because I didn't have an address. Now, I went to a place called Maryland Center for Veterans Education and Training, Big Vets. And once there, they were able to get the paperwork started and get everything so that I could receive my benefits. Now, if it wasn't for state funding, I'd have never been able to go there. Right now, they have to take in less clients because they're getting less money to run the program. And this is happening all over the city, all over the country. You know, we have veterans out here that are not honorably discharged who have no medical, and they have to go to places like healthcare for the homeless to receive medical treatment. Now, if they can't get medical treatment there, then they just walk around, you know, talking to themselves, you know, they are homeless. See, veterans make up less than 10% of the population of the country, but veterans make up 27% of the homeless population in the country. We live in Maryland, which came out is the richest state in the country, but on the other side, it has the poorest population in the country. So it's people that like the Chamber of Commerce that let people not pay their taxes is why we have so many poor people. You know, if you can't provide services for the least amount of people, the ones that are really on the bottom, then what are we doing? What is the tax money doing? You know, and if we would get the fair taxes that is owed to us by the corporations, then a lot of these problems will be able to be taken care of. I would love to see veterans not have to be out on the streets. I would love to see veterans being able to just go to any clinic or hospital and get their needs taken care of. Because remember, these are people that went in the military and served this country, and a lot of them put their life on the line doing so.
I just want to just say one thing to our fellow Marylanders who are members of the Tea Party movement who are also angry, and we would suggest that they direct their anger towards the Chamber of Commerce and these corporations that are paying nothing in taxes. If they would pay their fair share, maybe we would have a more equitable tax system. But the trouble is, too many of us on the bottom and in the middle class are paying too much, and people on the top are paying nothing or too little. Thank you.
All right.
That's it. Well, I'd be happy to take any. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Matt,
Bill?
if these loopholes are so well known, how come they haven't been closed by the General Assembly?
Well, the pattern that we've been seeing is the state is always behind. The state accountants are great, but they're not as good as the corporate accountants. And the corporate accountants are paid huge amounts of money to do nothing but figure out new loopholes. So they closed the Delaware Holding Company loophole. They closed the intellectual property loophole. And the loopholes where Walmart was paying rent to themselves in another state and deducting it from their profits as a business expense when it was just padding their own profits. So the state is behind just because that's the nature of the game. The corporations will always be ahead, always coming up with new loopholes. Combined reporting is what 23 states have done. The majority of states that have a corporate income tax have passed combined reporting. Maryland, unfortunately, has not yet. And we hope that the legislature will wake up. The House of Delegates passed it in the special session. The governor supported it. The state Senate sent it to a study committee. That study committee is reporting their results at the end of this year. So we are going to be back here next January fighting hard to pass combined reporting. Any other questions?